So today's mastermind, we're going to be doing RPR, Realtors Property Resource. Just go ahead and throw it out there. Next week, we're going to cover the 2025 GAR contracts, but with the intention of having more of a discussion. So I think that'll be a good one for next week, seeing as how we're rolling into the new year and the 2025 contracts will be coming out immediately. So that's kind of our plan for the next 2 weeks, and we'll probably jump back into some more stuff with KV Core. But right now we're going to be going into RPR. And so RPR is Realtors Property Resource. And you do have to be a realtor to have access to RPR. The challenge, though, for most folks is that they are a realtor and they have access to RPR, but they never access it. They never utilize the resource. And this is something that is part of your member dues. It's something that can really benefit you. And a lot of folks are just really, really intimidated by the entire process and just trying to jump in. So I want to kind of talk briefly about RPR, then we're going to fire up RPR. I'm going to show you how to work your way through it here, kind of thing. So RPR, that's NAR's technology company, right? That's their whole thing is that they are a technology company. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the National Association of Realtors, kind of thing. It is probably one of the largest databases of property-centric information out there. There is no consumer access with RPR. This is just for realtors to be able to use, right? So this is just for realtors. And so, as long as you have access inside RPR, I mean, as long as you are a realtor, then you have access to it. Now, if you're not a realtor, then you don't. So, I mean, that's just kind of the bottom line. I want to kind of go in and I'm going to share my screen and start kind of showing you kind of what we're looking at here and just kind of jump in. So this is the main login screen when you go, and all it is NARRPR.com is where you go in order to log in. Now, when you log in, you have to, if you have any kind of problem, like when you go in, you can go in and set up a new account if you have not ever gone in and done that. And so if you go in, you're going to go in, you're going to put in, you're going to need your NARDS ID and those kind of things. And so you want to go in and set up your RPR account. It's very easy, quick, nothing hard to do, that kind of stuff. One thing I will throw out there is if you have any kind of problems, this live chat and that phone number at the bottom of the screen, like there's real people there and they will help you immediately if you have any kind of problem. So getting into RPR really shouldn't be a problem because that's one thing that they do a really good job of is like their support for everything in there. So you can go in, you can to get signed in is not a big deal, but that's nothing that on one hand, I am RPR trainer, but I don't have access to the back office, those kind of things. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in here. And so this is RPR. This is Realtors Property Resource. And so this is how the main screen looks at when you first log in. Now, you notice mine says Georgia MLS. It's just because that's the primary MLS that I use. One thing that you want to first do, I'm just going to give you a quick overview. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detail. And so, up here at the very top, this is the different categories. So there's lots of things we can do for research. There's lots of things we can do for marketing. There's a ton of reports that we can generate. You can also find lots of help. Again, there's the phone number, live chat, those kind of things. If you want to learn more video, there's a ton of instructional videos. Most of them are short, like 1, 2, 3, 5-minute videos, that kind of stuff to learn. You can go and review any of your past work. One thing that everyone is going to want to do is they're going to want to go in and set up their profile the first time that they come in. But we'll do that in just a second. This next bar that we have here in the middle, this is where, like, if you want to, like, one of the good things that you can do with RPR is that you have access to both residential and commercial in here. And so this will check the commercial listings that are in our local MLS, but it also integrates and pulls out commercial listings out of Crexi and Brevitas. It doesn't do CoStar and LoopNet because they don't share data, but it will do Crexi, Brevitas, and those kind of things. And so if you want to go to start working in commercial, it's nothing more than a little click of the button right there, and now you're on the commercial side of things. We're definitely going to stay on the residential side. I can come in here, put in an address, and we can start searching. I can look for filters in there. Underneath here is this guided tour section here. And the guided tours, the nice thing about the guided tours is it really does physically walk you through. So if you want to know how to do a property search, you click on property search and it will say, hey, you want it ready to get started? Okay, show me. And it walks you through each step all the way through, you know, how to do every single step along the way. And so, you can do that for, prospecting, market trends, map search, creating a CMA. All these guided tours are just little mini, kind of like, it's not really help videos because it will walk you through doing the process from start to finish. Underneath here, this is where, this is kind of a heat map of your markets, and you can do a map search directly from here. This is also, you can come in here and choose the different markets that you want to that you want to look into. Like right now, we will, when you set your profile up, you put in what are your normal markets, and so I'm in Henry County, so if you do that, it's going to show you, if you look at all the Henry County data, there's 174 properties for sale. There's 31 for lease. 156 have had a price change, with a trend that we've seen. How many are pending, closed, distressed? It's a nice snapshot to kind of give you a pulse of what's happening in your product, in your market. You can kind of see how that compares with, different markets and what's going on there, that kind of stuff. So underneath that is a place for where you have your listings, and then you can see properties and any kind of saved searches. One thing that you definitely want to do first, if you haven't gone in here before, is you want to come in and you want to go into your profile. And so when you go in your profile, this is the place where you put in your picture. And then obviously that's an old picture of me. I've got a lot less gray back in those days. But here's where you put in your picture, your logo, all your contact information for your brokerage. You also put in, your phone numbers, because you can send reports out through this thing. Here's where you're going to put in your email, your website, and then next thing is where you're going to put in your MLS. And so you want to put in every MLS that you have access to. You want to put your login information. And so like I have access to Georgia MLS. I have access to First Multiple Listing Service. I also have access to Middle Georgia MLS. And West Georgia Board of Realtors. So I have multiple in here. If you only have one or two, just put those in there. Whichever you select as your primary, that's the icon or the logo that's going to show up on your main screen when you come in there. That's the data it's going to pull first. But what you're looking for is you want to make sure you've got a green status over here. If it shows as green, that means that it's pulling all the data. The good part about this is when you utilize this system, it will pull from data from all the MLSs that you have access to at the same time. So for doing things like property searches, for doing CMAs, it makes it really slick because it's pulling it from all the different MLSs at one time, as opposed to just doing it inside Georgia MLS or FMLS. So you can put in your license number if you want to. Some states they're required to, that kind of stuff. You put all that kind of stuff. It'll show, when you have it. One other thing that you have is RPR mobile, and that is a free download. You can download it on the Google Store. You can download it on the Apple iTunes, all that kind of stuff. The same login that you use to get into the desktop version is the exact same version that you're going to see in the mobile version. Whatever you see on desktop is the exact same thing you're going to see. If you save a report on the mobile, you're going to see that report on the desktop, back vice versa, anything. So everything you see goes both ways inside there. You can change your password if you want to, that kind of stuff. The other thing you can do inside here, in addition to you setting up your profile, is the settings. And here's where you can say, look, I want residential. I want new listings for 7 days. I can set recently closed to 120 days. You can do the same thing for commercial. And then you get to go in, and here's where you select the markets that you want to show in that market report when you first go in. And so you just type any kind of name, the name of any kind of market that you want. It'll automatically show up right here. So that's kind of getting started kind of thing, it's really not very, very difficult. One thing I do want to say is that you can't break this thing. There's a lot of folks who are like, I don't know if I really want to mess around with it. It seems intimidating, those kind of things. I promise you want to get in here and play with it. You can't break anything. There's no problem with anything that you in here that you can do. If you have any kind of problems, reach out to the help, watch the videos, those kind of things. But just getting in here and mess it about, you can't do anything to hurt it. So, and this is a benefit that you're already paying for. So why wouldn't you go ahead and start jumping into it and seeing what you can do with it? Because there's a lot of things that we can do for both marketing, research, CMAs, those kind of things. So first thing we're going to do here is, so like if you just come in here and you go into research, we can do a property search if we want to look for an individual property. So, we can come in here and just like put in, and so we can search in here for a particular property. So like if I know that I want to see 209 Lee's Trace in McDonough, Georgia, I can put in that property address, and now it's going to pull up the property information for 209 Lee's Trace. And so here's where you come in, and it's going to show any kind of information on here. But the thing about RPR, one thing that I really like about RPR is that there is a ton of data. You can get so much information. One thing I hate about RPR is it's so much data that it can be completely overwhelming for either you and especially for sometimes for our clients. Some of our reports that we can generate in this thing are 50 pages plus, which is a bit much in my opinion. So you're not going to have a hard time getting enough information. You're going to have to try and figure out what information makes the most sense for me to utilize. Now, in here on this on this, like on the property report here, it's going to show the address, and then right here it's going to show you this is the street address directly from Google Maps, and so you can do the exact same thing. You can look around, see what the other homes on the street look like, that kind of stuff. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can also click here and see a satellite photo of what the property looks like. And then you can also see any historical photos that have been that have happened in past years on the property when it's sold. So, you have a lot of options when it comes to that. I like that we can access all those very quickly. Then it's going to show that, it closed for $300,000 on 9/9/22. And then and then it'll show it's 3.2, 1,800 square foot roughly. And then it's going to show an RVM of 323, along with a estimate range and a confidence score. And so what RVM is this is Realtors valuation model. This is a desktop valuation. This is similar to a Zestimate or those kind of things. There's a lot of information that you can gather through here, but this is basically just their desktop valuation. Like if you click on this little icon, it will show you what is an RVM. If there's not enough data for the system to come up with an RVM, then it will give you an AVM, an automated valuation model. That just means it's not nearly as confident. So the RVM confidence index this here, which has 5 stars, means that it has enough data that feels very comfortable about that property. Now, if you click under view details here, this will show you the properties that it actually used to come up with the RVM number. Like Zillow, a lot of the other services don't really show you where they get their property values from. But in here, it shows, look, this is where the property is located. These are the homes that were used in the selection in here in order for this system to come up with the RVM value. So it just kind of shows all the other basic facts here. Who's the owner? This property is Cletus. It's an old school name there. Just shows you, year built, that kind of stuff. You can go down here and you can see, the last time a CMA was done, it was 245. Obviously, that was a long time ago. You can create a seller's net sheet. You can come in here and you can refine the value. If let's say if you do want to refine the value, you can come in here if you find anything that's wrong. Like, oh, look, they finished, an air. They finished it, they added another 1,400 square foot. You could come in here and add square footage to it if you needed to. do those kind of things, and then it would automatically update the values on there. So, if you keep going down through here, it's going to show you, just more of the stuff that really comes out of tax records. You can see the legal description, the abbreviated description. You can pull up the check and plat map. You can look at the schools, and we're going to go into schools in just a minute. And so you can see all the listing history, when the property was listed, sold, all the way through. Here's all your deed information. You can go all the way through. You can see, gosh, everything that same thing that you'd be seeing out of our tax records. And so it's going to go down and show you what's happened with the value of the property over the years. All that can be really nice to be able to put in there. And so you can come in, you can look at just the map and location where the property is. You can see what the market trends are. And so your market trends are really going to show, most of the time it's going to show cities and zip codes, just as to like what's really going on. And so, it shows that this is still a seller's market, but just kind of barely. It's almost heading into a balanced market. It can show the months of inventory. We need 6 months of standing inventory to have a balanced market. It shows how many what's going on in the active listings. But again, this is the market trends for McDonough. And so this is going to give us the market trends for the whole city of McDonough. We know that everything is super local when it comes to that, but this is just some nice data, just to kind of see what's going on. You can see, what's going on with sold public records, listing inventory, how many distressed properties there are for the zip code, how many median estimated property values, sold comp statistics. This is what I was talking about earlier, in that we have so many valuations that we can do, or analysis that we can do. Age rated sold comps, price per bedroom, price range. So there's just a ton of things that we can do for this property here. We can come in here, we can refine the value on this property. The other thing that we can do is we can come in here and hit CMA. And so CMA starts a CMA builder. And this is one of the nice things about RPR is it builds a really nice looking CMA. It does a nice comparative market analysis, but it also pulls data from all the MLSs at the exact same time. And so you can see that, here's the market stats on the property. And so the first thing you want to do is it's going to ask you to go into, well, first thing it's going to say either select an analysis type, comparative analysis or sales comparison approach. Comparative analysis, that's a CMA. That's what we do. Sales comparison approach, this is much more detailed. This is more like what an appraiser would do. I don't recommend you go in there unless you know data like an appraiser does, like how much to account for a half bath and those kind of things. We just find that comparative analysis makes much more sense. So first thing you want to do is you want to come in and you want to confirm your home facts and make sure that there's no changes on there. And so if you do that, you go in, you say, okay, everything's right. And then you want to come in here. Oh, let's clear this and start over. Okay. And so we're just going to come in and start this one from scratch. There was one done on this property years ago, apparently. So we're just going to come in. We're going to confirm our facts and make sure, yep, it's a 3-2, 1798, garage, whole 9 yards. And so once that's confirmed, the second step here is we're going to come in here and we're going to search for comps. And so in order to find comps, all we're going to do is hit find comps. And so this gives us the ability to come down and start searching for comps. And so you can select different types of properties. You can check different statuses on here. So, of course, I want to make sure that we have, there's no need to have withdrawn or canceled, that kind of stuff. But we are looking for a single property. And then, I may say, look, I may want to get properties within the last 12 months, 6 months, whatever you want to do, kind of thing. You can go with inside a range in here. You can select bedrooms, bathrooms, square footages if you want to. I don't normally do a lot of those because I find that sometimes agents don't always put in, especially square footage. A lot of folks will leave square footage out. And then you just put in those parameters and hit search, and it will show you all these different comparables here. Now I can come and I can draw a map if I wanted to and just select those properties that I want to do that. But these are all the properties that are active pending in the last, around the neighborhood. And so one thing and so it's going to let you come in here. And so, I can come and I can click on this one and I can say, all right, I'm going to use that for a comp. And I see this one here. I want to use that for a comp. And here's this one here. I want to use it for a comp. Here's this one here. And so I'm just kind of selecting all the comps from inside my subject neighborhood where the property is. And so, if I want to keep selecting, I can just keep selecting. Now, what happens here is as I'm selecting these comparables, if I scroll down, it's giving me a price range and it's showing me here's all the properties. And so here, this one's for 362, 342, 357. Oh, I got this one here for 275. That one doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, maybe we don't use that one, right? So, obviously, I don't think that's inside the subject neighborhood on here. And so on here, it will show all the properties it's thinking of that we should use. And so if I click it, it's going to add it to the comp list. If I don't, it's not going to. So, I'm going to have, so right now, on these 59 properties, I've got, this property in the neighborhood. These are the ones I selected. Now it's also saying, hey, you might want to consider this over here. Well, this doesn't look like our subject property at all, so I'm not going to add it. This one here also doesn't look like, I'm not going to add that. Do I want to use this one down here? That one doesn't look like it. This one doesn't look like it. So I'm just going to select the ones that match up the closest inside my neighborhood, square footage, those kind of things. I'm not trying to do a full CMA here on doing this for everyone at the moment. But, I just want to come in here and select the comparables that I want to use. And so once you have that, you update valuation and close. And so it came up with a value of 287. So you can either say, okay, maybe I want to go in and adjust these comps here and say, do I need to make any kind of adjustments? That's a you question on doing adjustments. I don't personally do any kind of adjustments, but if you want to, this is the place where you're going to come in. You can also, rank the order that you want to see these. You can make any kind of adjustments. And so you can include any of and you can put notes, and you can make any kind of changes that you want to there. You also have the ability to go back in if you wanted to change the comps that you used again. You still have the ability to go in and change any of the other comps that you don't like, that you felt were wrong for you on here. It just kind of depends on what you want to do, but you have the ability to change the comps, to adjust the values. You can also come in here and make your recommended value, 295. We're going with a range from 280 to 305. And so I do that, and then all I gotta do is hit create report. So I didn't want to spend a ton of time, but once I come in here, that is going to enable you to do the first report. And so we have a seller's report and we have a mini property report. The problem I have with seller's report is it is 81 pages long. That is ridiculous as far as I am concerned. If you'll come over here on the side and you hit customize, you can change what gets put into that seller's report. Or if you want to do a mini property report, you can do that as well. That one's only 12 pages. And so you can, you can add, select, put the different things in there. Like I don't normally leave things about RPR and notes and there kind of thing. And then you can just kind of run the report. And I'm going to let that report run. Anytime you run a report, it takes a minute to run. So that is basically, okay, close. But that's really quickly how to pull up a property, as well as how to do a very quick CMA. I know that I kind of blew through the CMA part really quickly, But that's kind of another entire class on CMAs. I'm trying to show a little bit how to use the RPR system itself. And so the first thing that we did was just came in, we did a property search. We can also come in here and do a map search. And here's where we can go in and just search by map. All we have to do is, so you can use a saved area, you can create a custom polygon. And so, I can come in here and, if I wanted to, search a particular area, I could just come in here and I could freehand draw, and then I could search this area, and now it's searching inside this area. And so if I want, and then I have the ability, I can look in, and so if I can see that, I can also see a grid of what those properties are. I can see a list of what those properties are, or I can look at them here on the map. So here, this just shows me a listing of what those listings are. And so from here, I can generate a list of properties that I may want to share out to multiple clients, those kind of things. I could go in here and I could either, once I select the properties I'm trying to search for, I can either print them off or I can create a report again. And so I can do a market activity report in here where and again, we customize, we come in here and, let's see, I don't want a net sheet. And so, I can leave in here the market snapshot, market summary, and then include all the for sale, for lease, that kind of stuff. And then I could run that report also. And so that's going to show me a list of those properties as well as the data that accounts for that. So we can come in, we can do a map search, property search, and then residential market trends. Residential market trends, this is where we can come in here. And so let's just, okay, close that. Every time that the report gets done, it sends you that lovely doorbell. So I can come in here and I can search by zip code, city, or neighborhood. So just you can come in here, put any kind of a city name that you want. So I'm just going to put in Fayetteville, Georgia. And so it's going to show me what's going on for the city of Fayetteville, balance market, key details, median property values, what's happened with the property values over time, new listings, active listings, pending listings. Again, it gives me a ton of information. The reason why this is a neat thing to be able to share here is because this right here, see where it has this share button? I hit share button. And so this is going to give me, I can come in here, I can change the name, the title or the name if I want to. And then I can come in here and I can go Facebook. And now I can share this report or just this section directly to my Facebook page right from here really quickly. We are always looking for different ways that we can be the subject matter expert. And this is a really nice thing where we can share a lot of different property-centric value directly into social media right from here. And so it really didn't take me long at all. And all I did was just sharing just this one, this one little screen here kind of thing on what we're doing. Now, also down here where it says more, I can go ahead and make it a JPEG, a PNG, or I can copy it onto here if that's what I wanted to do as well. And so I could turn that into a JPEG if I wanted to save it, if I needed to use it for any other resources. But as you go down here, all these share buttons are going to let you share any of these data points that you wanted to be able to share out through, and you can share it directly out into social media right from here, or you can make it into an image that you can use later. And that's really neat because you can do it by city, county. You can even go into doing it in the neighborhood. And that's one thing I really like, which is where I'm going next. So, I mean, that's the residential market trends report. But if we go into neighborhood search, so I can come in here and I can search. So let's just say I want to look up Lake Haven. So here's Lake Haven in Henry County. That's just the name of one of the neighborhoods here. If I hit Lake Haven in Henry County and just have it search up, it's going to pull up automatically. It's going to show the neighborhood here. It's going to show the market trends for for this particular neighborhood, buyer, seller, what's going on, what's happening with property reports. It'll show an AARP livability if you want it. This is the main occupations for the folks who live there. All those are nearby neighborhoods for what they do. I can see under housing, it's going to show me, what's happened in the neighborhood as far as home values by, overall compared to the county, state, and to the US. What percentage, own, rent, only 3% rent in the neighborhood versus 28% in the county, that kind of stuff. Going to show you what's going on with listings, total active listings, median sale price, pending listings. If you're trying to farm a particular neighborhood, this data can be so good to be able to share out directly into that neighborhood. You also have the ability to go in and see information about the people, population density, education levels, how many kids are there, households. It's going to show you what the economic data as that relates to the unemployment rate in there. And then it has some quality of life issues kind of thing. Just the normal stuff, rainfall, commute times, temperatures. So if someone's interested in moving into a particular neighborhood, this can be a nice thing to kind of share out through for the actual neighborhood itself. And again, just like we were doing before, I can take and I can share these same things out here through and be able to share those out, or just copy and paste it into anything else that I wanted to for that neighborhood. So I can also directly from here click and open up an interactive map. And so you can see this is where it automatically draws the boundaries for that neighborhood. If I wanted to do a CMA just because I had someone looking to buy inside this neighborhood, I could click on that. I could pull up just this neighborhood, and it automatically drew the boundaries of the neighborhood. I didn't have to go in here and draw all the weird shape, because obviously this is not like a square neighborhood by any means. So that makes it kind of easy to kind of put that whole thing together. All right. So we've done property search, map search, residential market trends, neighborhood, now schools. Here's one thing that I like about schools is that we have to be kind of careful, right? And so like when folks say, how are the schools? And so it can get kind of tricky. We have to be careful that, I'm not trying to bash schools, but we also have to be careful. Is this a good school or a bad school? And so it really kind of depends on a lot of different factors. We need to be able to give them resources and give them information to find the information for them to make an assessment of is a school good. That's one of the things I like about being able to share this data here. So let's see if we can, oh, maybe I'm pulling up the wrong one. So we're going to pull in here, and we're going to pull up. That's coming up. Nope. All right, let's just pull up Henry County then. Henry County, Georgia. So here's all the schools in Henry County, Georgia. And so if you just pull up all the schools, this has all the schools for a particular school. You can go in and look up the different ones. It has private schools in here on there as well. And so let's just say if I wanted to come in here, so this is Eagles Landing High School, which is in Henry County. If I wanted to look and see kind of what's up about Eagles Landing High School, you can see, here's the grades, where it is, that's the address, the phone number. Here's the ratings versus, Eagles Landing versus the entire county. And if you come in here and you go reviews, these are actually reviews by students and parents of the school. And so you can take and you can share this report out and without necessarily saying, is this school good or bad? Like, oh, this neighborhood is served by this high school. Is it good? Well, I'll send you the report on the high school. It's a nice, easy way for you to provide the data for your clients without stepping outside the roles. So I can come in here and I can create a report. Again, I can get a school report where I come in here, and so I mean I have net sheet. It's just going to show summary schools, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and run that report. We'll look at it in just a second. The other thing that we can do in here is, like sometimes folks will be like, hey, we currently live in the Eagles Landing High School. We want to stay in this high school. So I can come in here and go view nearby listings. It's automatically going to draw a map of all the properties that are inside the school district for that school. Now, and some of our schools, like if you look at the map for some of our schools, it's ridiculous the weird places and shapes it goes. So being able to pull that up, it's a pretty nice feature to be able to pull that up, because you can come in here and so like you can see this is the map for that school, which goes in all these weird places, and it really kind of runs north and south much more than it runs east and west. But this will automatically, I can come in here and I can search for all that automatically inside the neighborhood. I can also come in here and I can say, look, I only want to look at, I don't need to see pending or under contract. I only see active properties. I can say, I want to see properties that, are between, we want between 200 and 500,000, whatever it may be, kind of thing. And so you can come in, you can adjust all these kind of things and update your search. And now there it is. And so now we got an updated map of all the properties. And again, if I click on this, will give me the list, or this will give me the grid view if I wanted to see a big picture of properties and then I can select those properties and send those to someone who's looking to buy in that particular school district. So I do like being able to play with the school search. That really does kind of make it really nice to be able to pull that up. Our next report that we have on here is a residential marketing report, and this is very similar to the neighborhood reports and to the market reports. It just does the exact same kind of thing. And so we could put in here McDonough, Georgia, and it's going to give us the same sort of thing that we've already seen. It's going to show me all the activity that's going on for a particular area. Most of the time, we don't search in nearly this big of a range. You can come in here and you can put in, neighborhoods and do that kind of search as well. But most of the time, I'm very cautious of that, because we're still dependent on what a lot of folks on making sure that people put in all the right information in there for themselves. I mean, when they enter the listing, if they don't put, it's a garbage in, garbage out situation. So under research, the only thing left we have in here are commercial, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. Under the marketing tab, here's where we can prospect for residential clients in here. Now, you can prospect, but it's to prospect in order to send out mailing labels, normally speaking. And so if we come here and so let's say we want to prospect for clients, you can prospect for buyers or sellers. Let's just say we're going to prospect for sellers. It's putting it in here. Let's go home and get it set back up here. All right, we're going to hit research, map search. See, it kind of takes us through the whole thing. Make sure that you're in residential. It's going to say search for a zip code. So we're going to set 3025. Oh, we're going to search in zip code 30253. And so now it says expand the filters. We're going to expand the filters. And so we're going to search for public records. And then, well, obviously we got too many records, so we're going to have to sort that down. So we come down here and it's going to say, okay, we're going to be, either we're going to be looking for owner occupied properties, or we can look for absentee owners. And so if we're looking for potential sellers, that may be occupied owners, and so if we occupied owners, we put that in there. And then next we can say, look, they've owned it for 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 plus years. You can say how long that they've owned that property for, and then update and search. And so we still have too many results. So it wants us to go back in, and we still have to come down here, and maybe we want to go filter that out, only go there, update and search. And then it will create that. And then all we have to do is hit mailing labels, and that will give us those mailing labels. Now, where I see this one be the most helpful is if you're actually going to come in here. And so like if you're going to try and search for absentee owners, those can be really, really helpful because these are folks that have owned property but don't live there. You can do the exact same thing. And so this will give you that list. And again, if I wanted to, I can create these are a list of all the people that own property but don't live there. I can come in here and I can print mailing labels directly off, and you can just either go by Avery 5160, 61, 62, and then you can put those in. And so it lets you do, I think 2,000 a month that you can print off for free. And if you want to get more, it's pretty inexpensive if that's what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to do old school mail outs and those kind of thing. On the commercial side of things, commercial and residential really function very, very similar. If you did want to do some commercial, looking at things, just toggle it into commercial. And so there are a couple of different things that you have some different options here. So obviously it's gonna change the properties under your markets to commercial style properties, how many properties there are, that kind of stuff. But if you come up and so like on the map search itself, you're going to have a lot of different things that you can do on the commercial. And so like on commercial site selection, if you come into commercial site selection, you can come in here and say, look, I want to be in, let's say I want to be in Fayetteville, Georgia. And then, or you can just search by map. And then let's say that I want to find people, let's say what they buy. And I want to say, what do they buy? So let's just say you have someone that has a restaurant, and they're like, should I be in Fayetteville? And so you can come here, select on the different types of products that may be in there, sold, that kind of stuff. And too few attributes. It wants us to have some more attributes. All right. So we can say that we want this to have all food at home, all dairy, meat. Let's just say all food at home for right now, and then run an analysis. So it runs it processes this and it gives you a heat map on who are the folks who are most likely. So like if you had someone that wanted to have a grocery store, you could say, look, I really want to make sure that I'm getting an idea of where would be the best place to put my grocery store. Well, this area right here is the most likely to do that. And so you can come in here and you can change all the site selection criteria in here for any of those. Here's dining out. This is for everyone who dines out, and we run the analysis again. And so if these are people, so like if you had someone who was looking for a restaurant, these are the areas where the people in this county dine out more live. So you'd want to put your restaurant in those same areas. In addition to that, we also have commercial map insights. And commercial map insights, it's pretty nice because all you do is zoom into an area, and so it will tell you like, and so you can find all this kind of information. So like percentage of population who are children, for example, right? And so we can put any of these in, and so like if we go in and this lets us kind of zoom in, zoom out, we can move all over. Like this is McDonough, for example, and so this will show you, like if you I'm sorry, I'll move down here a little bit more. So the darker, the more population that has children. So if you had someone that was wanting to have a daycare, you'd want to have a daycare in the areas that are darker because there's going to be more people that have children. You can come in here and you can change all the different data layers that you want to. And so here's a percentage of population who are seniors. And so again, if you were looking to put in home health care or do things like that, you can see that we can see this is the area that has a higher percentage um, of senior Americans kind of thing. You can do the same thing with median property values. It does the same thing, which just shows you kind of what's going on with the property values. One other nice thing, which is not necessarily just for commercial, is you can see the flood zone in here. This is tied in directly to the flood maps from the government. And so if you want to see what the actual flood maps are, you can actually, I'm sorry, zoom in. It lets you zoom in really closely to where are the flood maps on here. You can see exactly where they all reside, that kind of thing. So same thing in marketing. You can create flyers for commercial as well as for residential clients in here. Like under market, I didn't really show you residential property flyer, but you can come in here and you could put in and you can make a property flyer for just about anything that you want to. So you could either put any kind of report or an address that you have. If you have a listing, here's a listing. I can come in here, create report. I can do, and so I can come in here and create any kind of reports that I want. In here, I don't need to take a tour. So I can come in here and do a seller report, a buyer report on that property. If I want to from here, I can select which ones I can continue with that template. And so it will automatically do me a buyer report for this property that I can share out to buyers on here. It has all the data in here if I want to, and I can run that. And so I can either do that, save it, or I can make a copy a link, or I can download it. Or if I wanted to, I could also come in here and just like on the others, I could share it out to social media if I want to. And then this is what that report looks like if you were to download it into a PDF. Again, here's all your contact information, data, that kind of stuff, and then all the information on that property if you wanted to send it to somebody. It's really nice to be able to send this. Some of your clients will really appreciate the level of the amount of detail that we can send to them. A lot of clients, it's a bit much. It's a little bit too much to send over to them on here. Now, anything that we've made reports out of, you can find all the reports that you've already kind of done that you've sent out here. And so like here's our mini property report that we did. If we wanted to see in here, so like here's our school report. If you hit on Eagles Landing High School, here's that school report that we generated earlier. It does the exact same thing. This also shows, anything within a 5-mile radius of the school in there. Here's my market activity report. Here's my mini property report. Now in here, you have options on all these reports that we ran earlier. We also have, so I can come in here, I can download it, delete it, post it on Facebook. I can rerun it. I can also view the report activity. So for example, if I send a report if I do a report and I send it to somebody, this will let you know if they've actually opened it, viewed it, that kind of stuff. And so sometimes we send information, we're wondering who actually looks at it. This will tell you who's actually looked at the report. So I have talked for a very long time now, and I think I'm in here for longer than I probably should have been. And I did want to kind of open this up to just kind of like any kind of questions that anybody has. I hope that you just feel more comfortable. This is one of those things that we pay for already. And so I hate that this is something that so many of us are paying for and don't utilize it. It can feel intimidating, and a lot of folks don't do anything with it. So please feel free to jump in. Does anybody have any questions that I might be able to help with? None?
I think you did a great job going over all that, Alan. and it wasn't too much. I mean, the main thing is knowing you can get in and play with it and create stuff and practice. Like as you were going over it, I was doing it for my home.
Ah,
And I'd set it up years ago, but I hadn't used it because I don't, do a lot of business myself.
yeah.
But those that are doing it, it's really good tools.
One thing I really love that I think a lot of people are missing out on is the being able to share out into social media. Like that's a fairly new integration that we can do, and all the time. I mean, I'm guessing you hear a lot of the same thing I do. I just don't know what I should post. I don't know where can I get data to share. Where do I get these market stats? Like it's all right here. This is, I mean, like you just send one
Mhm.
of these every single day out into the ether. Like it lets folks know that you're active and engaged, and like
Yeah.
it can be a good source for having some conversations.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, anybody have anything else? Neil, you have anything else you want to throw in, or I appreciate
No,
you joining
that's
me with these every week, so thank you.
yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed. I learned stuff each week, so I like to come on.
Me too. Well, next
Yeah.
week we're gonna do GAR contract changes 2025, and
Hmm.
hopefully do a little bit of have more time for Q&A. We're not going to do the full 3 hour. Obviously, we don't have time for a 3 hour CE class. We're just going to touch on the big points, and then be able to have an open discussion about some of those. Because for me, it's not about necessarily form changes as much as it is how it's impacting how we're engaging with our buyers and sellers. So, well, guys, if that's it, anybody have anything else? If not, we're going to call it a day. So,
All right. Thanks, Alan.
all right, thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all. All
See
right.
ya.